iron by vigorous heating, grows soft in her forge in a minute or so, as oft was hard and still was beating. It softened more and hard and slow. When he rose to go, she said in sorrow, I wish my husband could do so. With your hammer come tomorrow, but can we try once more before you go? Thank you. That song is responsible for one of my favourite interactions ever on tour. It's a few years ago now, and we were playing somewhere, I think in rural Nottinghamshire, and I was chatting to some people at the end, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye this incredibly handsome, very beautifully, dapperly dressed gentleman waiting to have a chat, and he kind of wandered over and he just leant against the wall like that. And he went, all he said was, I used to be a blacksmith. It was lovely. Honestly, he was absolutely gorgeous. He really was. And then he said, I'm going to instruct my kids to play that song at my funeral when I die. It's brilliant.
Here's another new one from our new album. It's only been out a week or so. We're doing quite a few of it tonight. We're enjoying playing the new songs, which is normally terrifying, but we're really enjoying it. This is one called The Year Without a Summer. And it was inspired by Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. And if you know the story about how she wrote the book, she wrote it during what they called the year without a summer. A volcano had gone off in the Pacific, chucked up a lot of stuff into the atmosphere, and ruined the whole summer in Europe, about 1816, something like that. And Mary Shelley had booked with her mates to go on a nice walking holiday around Lake Geneva, and it was totally rained out. They just, well, yeah, it was
like a holiday on Dartmoor.
Yeah,
kind of, you know,
terrible.
Drizzle.
So they were sat in their chalet, you know, finished all the Toblerone and the Emmental. And Mary Shelley challenged her mates and said, right, let's all see who could write the scariest ghost story. And guess who won that one? Mary Shelley. So that's how we got Frankenstein. So this song was written when we had a power cut on Dartmoor. And we suggested the same sort of thing to our daughters, who had just thought it was the end of days. You know, the internet had gone. And that was it. The world was collapsing. And there was no way they were entertaining this idea of lighting candles and gathering round and writing stories or whatever it was. So they went and hid under their duvets and wept. But KATHRYN and I, we cracked a bottle of wine and lit some candles, went around her old piano, and we wrote this next song. A nice little thing about it is it starts off with a lovely little tune that we wrote many years ago on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. And it's a really gratifying thing as a musician, because you have little bits of songs and bits of tunes that you carry around with you that don't find a home usually. And sometimes when just one or two of them, you know, make port and find their natural home, it's the most gratifying thing. And this is one of those instances where that little tune that we wrote overlooking the Bay of Portree and found its way into this song. So, hooray.
tell a story to pass the time when it's dark outside. You tell yours and I'll tell mine. The fields stand empty, frozen hard. The horses starve in the stable yard, and the bright sun was extinguished. We're safe in here, so tell me something to freeze my heart, wrap me up in fear. Hold me close as the story starts. The fire is low and the room is dim. The perfect time for you to begin. In the year without a summer. So close your eyes. Do you still see light as the fire dies? The time will come when we feel the heat from the hidden sun. What makes a man? Is it more than flesh and blood and bone? What makes a man? What desire drives him home? The certain knowledge we all belong to choose the path between right and wrong. In the year without a summer. So close your eyes. Do you still see light as the fire dies? The time will come when we feel the heat from the hidden sun. So close your eyes. Do you still see light as the fire dies? The time will come when we feel the heat from the hidden sun. Thank you very much. Well, right on at the back of the start of the set, I mentioned I used a favourite word. Well, I actually have a lot of favourite words, and I'm interested in words and their origin and how they maybe have changed in usage over time. And this next song was inspired by just such a thing, and it concerns the word eavesdropper. Now, we all know that an eavesdropper is someone who lurks furtively, listening to things that they really shouldn't. But apparently in the 16th century, it was a nickname that was given to gargoyles who sit there on the top of buildings, straining water from the eaves and dropping them down below. And people used to imagine that these eavesdroppers were listening in to all the plots and the plans and everything that was going on at street level. And that got me to thinking, are there any gargoyles in the House of Parliament? And if so, what would they make of everything? And I was quite interested. Someone told me the other day, actually, that the gargoyles on Westminster Abbey that face the Houses of Parliament are all blindfolded, which I thought, very good, yes. It was meant to be a bloodless coup until the streets turned red. Do as we say, not as we do. We're in charge of you, they said. We hear whispers, we see all From our vantage point high on the wall, we know secrets, we smell lies, as the plots and deceit start to rise like heat to thieves, spoken by liars and thieves, con men who do as they please. Some have money and wish for more, and they won't lend a penny to the poor. They pass by with nothing but a frown. That's the way the working person has been cast down on their knees, punished by liars and thieves, con men who do as they please. What will become of this land if things go on this way? There's many thousand workers grow poorer by the day. They lie and twist, they trick and cheat, they insist that you march to their beat, jump to attention every time they talk, and don't ever question the direction you walk in your sleep, herded by liars and thieves, con men who do as they please. What will become of this land if things go on this way? There's many thousand workers grown poorer by the day. It was meant to be a bloodless coup until the streets turned red. Do as we say, not as we do. We're in charge of you, they said. There is no whisper so quiet it can't be heard, no opinion too brutal or absurd. Nothing changes, we've seen it all before. Eavesdropping on history from the chamber floor, spoken by liars and thieves, con men who do as they please.
A little off-piste. Would you like to hear a song about cows? It's not on the list. We're just feeling it. We're just feeling we need a bit of bovine love. We should be careful of what I say. Really.
Yeah, that's not.
This is the other song, yes.
Very good.
Love it. It's a little song called The Cows of Mystery, and this came about. There's a herd of cows where we walk our dog on Dartmoor, basically, and our young daughters have grown up and become obsessed with this herd of cows, believing they have magical powers, and we've done nothing to dispel this myth. We heartily encouraged it, in fact. They've got very strange views on livestock now as young adults. However, KATHRYN wrote this song in the style of Mr. Tom Lehrer to encourage their love. Yes, Mr. Tom Lehrer, fantastic. I just wish that the kids would have listened more to him growing up, and then they wouldn't have worried about their chemistry. Anyway, this is called The Cows of Mystery. Ooh. I will get in tune, it's so much nicer. We did this in Hereford a few weeks back, and they bloody loved it up there. I knew it was going to be a winner. As soon as we drove into the town, I thought, I know how to play. But instead of, maybe we can do it tonight, instead of applauding at the end of this one, you don't have to applaud at the end, it might be rubbish, it might be awful, if I don't get in tune. But I asked them in Hereford if they'd moo at the end. And it did move Kathryn actually quite emotionally, so maybe we can try that.
Oh, we stamp across the moor, and nobody is sure where we come from or who we're going to see. Through the morning's misty breath, we will scare you half to death, for we are the cows of mystery. Oh, we disappear from here and we pop up over there. No one knows how we get from A to B. Well, I shouldn't really say, but we have found a way, for we are the cows of mystery. There's a rather clever man with a rather clever plan to travel time and space and everywhere in between. But we are clever cows, and we have found out how to travel in a bovine time machine. Oh, we like to head out west, where the grass is always best, to north and south and throughout history. But we avoid the east, yet's no good to man nor beast, for we are the cows of mystery. We knew about it first, the secrets of the universe, the black holes and expanding galaxies. So we wander time and space to see the look upon your face when you bump into the cows of mystery. On Dartmoor National Park we hang around till it gets dark and jump on unsuspecting passers-by. It comes as a surprise and they can't believe their eyes when a bull materializes from the sky. Oh, we like to stay up late and discuss and ruminate and keep up to date with quantum theory. But you'd never believe it's true, 'cause we don't let on to you that we are the cows of mystery. I think that beats the Herefordshire mooing. That was excellent. Excellent work, everybody.
That was very Randy mooing.
Oh, dear me. Yes, of course. It's a bit of an obstacle course, I'm afraid. Well, if you've seen us play before, you'll know that we don't do the fake ending thing, where we tell you it's our last song and then kind of go and stand and look embarrassed by the door and hope that you want another song. And I've fallen over so many times doing that. So a couple of years ago, we decided we'd do away with that shenanigans. So we're going to sing you 2 more songs, whether you like it or not, basically. You know, we all know where we stand then.
We haven't had a murder ballad yet, so yeah, we'll do something dark.
Oh, yes.
In fact, Bick, you wanted darkness, didn't you? You wanted some darkness. Yes. Well, here's your moment, mate. Here's your moment. This is a Scots ballad, an old Scots child ballad called Child Owlet, and it's got a terrible punishment dished out in this one, really awful, of being torn apart by wild horses, absolutely awful. See, this is the trouble when you change your strings on an old guitar. It's terrible. I should learn better. Has to be done. Okay.
Sean was a bit freaked out. It's a while ago now. I'm a bit of an avid reader, and I read quickly, and I read a lot of very weird kind of, well, he thinks it's weird anyway. But I was reading a book. I have a fascinating book on the history of executioners. And
As you do.
As you do. It's interesting from a historical point of view. And I happened to be in the bath and I hadn't realised I left the book open on the side of the bath. And Sean came in and discovered it open at a page that on one side of the page was a list of medieval tortures. And on the page opposite was the price list of what you would be charged to have the torture administered to you. And he thought I was dropping hints somehow. But we discovered that being torn apart by wild horses would cost your family 5 groats. and it was extra for the rope. It was pretty gruesome. So, anyway, yes. Lady Erskine sits all in her room, sewing silk and seam. A chain of gold for child owlet to see goes out and in. It fell once upon a day. She turned to him and sweetly said, "You must cook old your old uncle, come into my bed." "Oh, stop, forbid, madame," he said, "how could that be done? I wouldn't cook old Lord Ronald, for I'm his sister's son." She's taken out a little knife that lay beneath the marriage bed, and stabbed below her satin dress until the blood ran red. That poor young man, poor young man. Then in came old Lord Ronald, hearing his lady moan. "Whose blood is this upon the floor that drips on the hearthstone? Child owlet, your sister's son, has only just gone from my door. If I hadn't been a good woman, I'd have been child owlet's whore." He's taken poor child owlet, put him in prison strong, and all his men a council held how they would work him wrong. Some said they would see him hang, some decreed that he should burn. Some said they would see that young man between wild horses torn. That poor young man, poor young man. There are horses in my stable, stand can run so speedily, and you must go to my stable and bring out four for me. He tied a horse to his 2 feet and tied a horse to either hand, and sent them charging down the moor as fast as they could run. There was not a place upon the moor, nor yet a strip of ground not covered over with his blood and pieces of his skin. Not a place upon the moor, a blade of grass or holly bush not covered over with his blood and pieces of his flesh. That poor young man, poor young man, that poor young man, poor young man. Thank you. Well, before we do our last song, I'd just like to say a huge thanks to Bic and all the team here for inviting us along and making us feel so welcome. Thank you. And of course, thank you to all of you for coming out. We're always so happy to see fellow adults and not teenagers. But honestly, it's great that you're here. It would have been rubbish if you hadn't come, so thank you. We're going to leave you with a gentle, contemplative song. And this was very much inspired by one of my most beloved places on Dartmoor. If you ever find yourself in the vicinity of Tavistock, grab a local or get a map and see if you can find your way to a place called Pew Tor. It's spelled P-E-W. And just climb up to the top and sit on the big rock in the middle and just be. It's a really special place, and it's where I tend to go if I feel like I need to recharge myself or if I'm missing somebody. That's the place. And I sat up there last year and I wrote these lyrics. And Actually, before we came out on tour, I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to ask a friend. There's a friend of ours she's a wonderful candle maker. And I went to her and I said, can you create as a memento for this tour that we can sell on the tour? Can you create some candles that really epitomise Dartmoor and specifically Pew Tor? And she looked at me and she went, what, you want a candle that smells of sheep shit? Obviously not, but she did. She's created these lovely candles for us that we just got with us on this tour. In fact, I don't think we had them out earlier because there wasn't room. But thank you for listening to us, and we'll leave you with this. It's just called Pew Tor. When we finally start talking, we listen to the silence that is not true. It's the silence of the water and earth, and in that minute I felt your worth. It's the silence of birds and the breath of the air, and in that moment I felt you there. It was louder than our words ever were, so we listened. I often wonder where you ended up, if you settled on my skin, if you ever became part of me, and if I breathed you in, if you retained knowledge of who you once were, if you know me as your kin, swirling in your own galaxy, drifting on the wind. Life is but vapor and bodies just clay. The pleasures of youth are like blossoms in May. Let me live well, though I live for one day. Oh, how I wish, but wishing's in vain. If I could fix my flaws with gold, like a broken Japanese bowl, I'd have all my battle scars on show for all the world to see and know, and I'd show them to everyone who asked, and wear them with pride like a map of my past. Beauty can still be seen through the cracks if we're looking. Life is but vapor and bodies just clay. The pleasures of youth are like blossoms in May. Let me live well, though I live for one day. Oh, how I wish, but wishing's in vain. When we finally ceased our
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all. Safe journey home, and we'll see you next time we're in town. Thank you.